All right, everyone. Can you tell me on the chat if you can hear me, and can you see my screen too? My PowerPoint slide. Okay. All right. Cool. Uh, yeah. If someone wants to talk in the middle, you gotta raise your hand, or you can even say something on the chat because I have my chat window open in another screen. Um, I think we're waiting for Clarence, but we can get started. Let me just start here. All right, so this is our this is our fifth virtual meetup. The first three, I was there, and then the fourth one, Clarence did it a couple of weeks ago, and then we skipped a couple of weeks because we were in the Europe tour, Asia tour, so we couldn't do it. So this is just that continuation of our regular schedule for the meetups. And in the future, like we may decide to have meetups every 2 weeks, or if there is any important information that we want to put out, or if we want more training sessions, whatever, we can even have weekly these meetups. So we'll see how that pans out. Anyways, what's on the agenda today? We're gonna talk a little bit about what happened since our virtual meetup, which was about a month ago. We're gonna talk about the Asia tour. Give you guys a recap of what um, all the different cities, countries that we visited. All the things that we learned, all the people that we got to know, developers and things like that. For that, Clarence was the one who actually was able to go to this Asia tour. So he's going to give a brief talk about that later. And then we're going to dive into the Europe tour, which Kevin and I were there for, and Rong was also there. And then afterwards, we're finally going to announce Cyber Republic. We are officially going live today. So that's good news. So anyone can register for it. We'll talk about that later. More on that later. And then finally, we're going to talk about some of the things that are coming up in the future, in the near future. A couple months from now, and then finally the wrap up. All right, so review since last meetup, not much. Actually, the last meetup that I was part of at least, we talked about all the different repositories of Elastos on GitHub, went through the brief introduction, and the meetup after that, Clarence gave a talk about Cyber Republic. A lot has changed since then. If you were to go to cyberrepublic.org, you'll see what I mean by that. Asia tour happened, Europe tour. If you didn't know, on July 1st, there was actually a release of our ID sidechain. Because of that, the wallet had to be upgraded to account for that. And if you haven't checked out the details regarding that and the article that we put out, what it means, we know how important that actually is, because that is the entire backbone of our of this new internet that we're creating. So so feel free to read up on that. Also, what that also means is because ID sidechain is merge mined with the Ella chain, it means that merge mining is also a go as far as the testing of it, at least use with all the side chains. Again, details about this will be forthcoming, but you can already start checking out the articles that are already available online. The one that I put up a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, I forgot. And there will be more articles coming in the future about this. All right, is Clarence on? Because I don't see him. Because if not, we'll just move to. Let me see if he's on. He's on. Okay, let me unmute you, and then you can go ahead. Hold on. All right, you are unmuted.
Hey, cool. Awesome. Everyone hear me okay? I think, yeah, I have my new mic, so hopefully it sound a lot better than before. Hi guys, so yeah, I was in charge of the Asia tour. We had two main meetups, one in Vietnam and one in Hong Kong, and a lot of notable meetings along the way. Vietnam was cool because we met people from Cardano and had some good discussions about exchanging tokens and side chains and main chains. So a lot of good questions from them. Robbie, which is a friend from Weather Block, was also there, and as you know, they have their dev team based in Vietnam, so he was there, and a bunch of crypto traders were there too. So it was a really big meeting, 120 people, really good turnout, and my first speaking engagement. So it was pretty enlightening. And then I had a Hong Kong meeting where I met Wilson Lee. You actually probably know him from the Newton project. So that was pretty enlightening as well. And then there we had the fortune to meet Abraham, who was going to be our Shenzhen organizer. If you don't know about Shenzhen, it's located right next to Hong Kong. It's kind of one of the Silicon Valleys of China. A lot of unicorn projects have spawned out of there. A lot of startups are there. So hopefully that's really productive for us. Also went to Thailand and India. So it was a really packed trip. I was pretty much flying the whole time. In Thailand, we met the Bitcoin addicts, and they're the one who's put out one of the early Elastos reviews in Thai. And I also talked to someone who did a YouTube video on Elastos in Thai, and they might be joining us to help as well. So we're looking into the Thai community. There are a lot of crypto fans there as well. So we hope to, we'll announce this later on in this meetup, but there is the Elastos anniversary conference that we'll talk about later. But we're also going to have a secondary meetup, independent. The Elastos anniversary is run by the Chinese, the core team, but then we'll be hosting our own meetup in Bangkok, and it's led by the Bitcoin addicts people. And finally, in India, I met Banu, Madhu, and Shiva, and that was my first time in India. They're teachers at the BVIT, so that's the Vasareddy Venkatri Institute of Technology, Vijayawada. That's near Hyderabad. And Hyderabad, as you know too, is another tech hub, like a Silicon Valley of India. So we hope that there'll be a lot of events and things that come out of there soon, as well as we start wrapping up. And once our SDKs and stuff are ready, we can start wrapping up and pushing out into India and Thailand and everywhere else in Asia.
All right. Let me just mute you so I can talk. So let me move on to the next one. So the next one we have is the Europe tour. I personally was not part of the London tour, but it was organized by the by the SVK Crypto guys. I think they already have a YouTube, reviewing that meetup, and we also put out the meetup video on YouTube on our channel. I believe there were around 80 people or so. Again, Kevin can correct me if I'm wrong, but anyways, so after that we went to Barcelona. In Barcelona, there were very few people, but there were a lot of, every one of these people actually wanted to learn about Elastos. Some of them were pretty well versed, and we did get a chance to meet some of the developers. I think one of them, one of the people, I forgot your name, sorry, we met. I think he's the one who put out a recent Medium article showing a demo or something. He's planning on integrating runtime and carrier into another demo that he's planning. He's part of the developers group as well. But and then we moved on to Zurich. There were around 20 to 25 people in Switzerland. A lot of great discussions there, but nothing too new. Because a lot of these meetups, we followed a similar structure. Where Ron gave a talk, and then Kevin discussed about the movie coin use case, on how movie coin is just a code name given to the project, but how we talked about how they would utilize their movie platform, trading movies, things like that, peer to peer, using Elastos. And same thing happened at Berlin. In Berlin, actually, we met some people who actually traveled from further away. One of the people that I talked to was actually a developer, but he was very skeptical of Elastos. So he wanted to check out Elastos for himself. So he traveled just to meet, Rong and other people to get a feel for himself. And after talking to us, he felt pretty comfortable. I think we encountered this similar case with a lot of people where a lot of the people in Europe, actually, compared to Asia, I think most of them were developers there, but in Europe, most of them were investors, and not very tech friendly, but we could have organized our structure better, but we didn't really know the audience, what kind of audience we were going to get. Either way, after we talked to them one-on-one later, before they had an impression that it was just some other project, some other blockchain project that was trying to promise a lot of things, and so they were really skeptical. But after talking to us, they felt pretty comfortable. So, which is really nice, because when it comes to these meetups, as long as we can have 2 to 3 people into our community, have them be part of Cyber Republic, I think that's how we can reach that organic growth that we're seeking. In Amsterdam, there were a lot. It was a great turnout, around 30 people, I believe. Ghent was the first meetup where actually we live streamed, um, where there were lots of great questions. And Paris, a lot of people with non-tech background and especially not aware of Elastos. But again, this was we basically thank everyone from these cities who were able to organize this meetup for us, even if they didn't have any experience whatsoever, but it was the first meetup. So we hope to see these kind of meetups in the future, hopefully monthly meetup, and go from there. At least have like two to three new people, or at least 5 people every meetup. That's all that matters, because we want quality rather than quantity. So some of the things that we learned is utilization of time. There were 3 of us, Kevin, Rong, and myself, going to the same event. Obviously, this was the first meetup, so we were still kind of feeling, how we could do this, and along with the organizers that were also part of this. But one thing that we learned was it's better to, utilize every one of us with our own expertise, and actually, instead of having like all 3 people at the same meetup, it's beneficial for everyone to have, not more than 1 or 2 people from the team, so that we can utilize our time better. And in addition, it would be better in the future if we could visit like local incubators or other blockchain companies in the future, so that we can actually talk to these different clients who are interested in Elastos, talk to them one-on-one. So we did do that, a lot in Zurich and somewhere else, but there was not a whole lot of that going on. So we hope to have that, those kind of meetings with other clients as well, when we are, in these new cities that we've never been to. Maybe have like a temporary meeting room and have like these one-on-one discussions with the clients and so forth. 2 to 3 days in one city is good, no less, no more, because if you go over 3 days, that's way too much. And if you go like one day, you go there and then you do the meetup and then you just get out. So not much happening other than the meetup. We would like to have these schedule these meetings with other clients as well. So just wanted to let everyone know that we are at your disposal. So you gotta utilize us to the fullest, and basically you gotta organize everything around your own schedule. We're there to visit, so we can do whatever you want. You can just put us to meetings, whatever the case may be. We're pretty much at your disposal, is what we meant to say. For the live streaming, it's always better to have the best acoustic environment room with good network, and it was really good in Ghent. But in other places, if we had a similar environment, similar room with good network, then we probably could have live streamed. But Kevin was able to record all of them, so hopefully we can get that out on our YouTube channel in the future. So the goal is to be able to live stream these events in the future so that there's no delay between when the meetup actually happens and then, when the video actually goes live. All right, moving on. So the goal is to set up local monthly meetups in your local communities in your own native language. It doesn't matter if, it doesn't have to be in English because in your local, the whole purpose is to have that local community building so that you can organize it in your own, native language, Spanish, French, whatever. And you don't really need us to hold these monthly meetups because in the future, when and you will see this later, but when you register as an organizer in the Cyber Republic website, you can actually propose these, and then obviously the first few, first couple meetups, we would like to talk to you one-on-one. We would like to visit you, but after that, you can just propose these as long as it makes sense. We'll be approving them. And if it is within the budget and so on. So, the goal is to have at least 2 to 5 people join Cyber Republic because that is going to be our whole, platform for contribution where the developers will be joining, the non-developers will be joining and, making changes to core code, fixing bugs, taking on bounties, writing some technical articles and so on. So, no need to do everything at once. Just take it, one step at a time. But obviously, because we're still so new and we're still, at the development stage, we would rather focus on building that developer community first, so that we can get those in, so that it'll be easier for us to then, build these dApps, dApps in the future and attract more people and more non-developer developer community all in one in a Cyber Republic nation. Also one thing to notice is there was not a lot of awareness about Elastos. This actually, we were also at the Blockchain Expo in Amsterdam for 2 days, and everyone we talked to, no one had any idea on what Elastos was even about. And obviously that can be changed, but we're working very hard to change that in the near future, and that will be a continued progress on our part. But we also encourage you all to leave some feedback. Constructive criticism is better than just flat out spreading negativity, because that really doesn't help anyone. Oh, not a wrap up. Cyber Republic, we are officially a go. If you were to visit cyberrepublic.org right now, you can actually see our updated website. I'm going to let Clarence take over from here, and he can explain a little bit more about what that's about. Let me unmute you. Hold on. All right, you're unmuted.
Cool. Hey, so let's see here. Good thing we don't have any trolls today. I can actually, I guess you can stop your screen share, and I'll try to take over.
Yeah. Let me unshare my screen first. Stop share. All right, you can take over.
Cool. So this is the new Cyber Republic. The redesign is pretty much, this is a kind of a sneak preview of what the new Elastos site probably will look like. So these designs come straight down from the top. So there you go. It's a sneak preview. Few design changes. The main thing that I've added, and you've probably gone over this before, is that we do have conversations now. So when you do everything through the Cyber Republic website, a lot of the communication can now happen within the website. So that's one of the main features we've added. And I added the help section here. So we kind of realized not everyone uses GitHub. And some people don't even know what it is. So for non-developers, we put the help section here. So you can go in here and we have 2 videos. And I don't want to waste everyone's time. I just suggest you go watch these videos. There's one, they're both about 8 minutes long. So pretty thorough. They go over how you create tasks, how members sign up for tasks, how you get approval, and how you communicate with admins. So those help tutorials are there, and pretty much just give me feedback. I don't really want to walk through the site too much because, like I said, we have the videos there. And so if you have any questions, jump in Slack and ask us directly. Cool. Where's my stop share? Okay. You want to take over again? Correct.
Sure. Yeah, everyone can just go to our cyberrepublic.org and then check out the help section. There's all the tutorials, guides, how you can create a task. Everything is explained there. So, all right. Let me share my screen one more time. All right. Yeah, this meetup was supposed to be really short, but I guess it was way too short. So we'll be taking lots of questions here. But first, wrapping up, next meetup, we haven't announced yet, but it will most likely be next week or the week after that. Definitely, we will be having these virtual meetups at least every 2 weeks. And if there are already other meetups going on, then obviously we won't have these. But just to fill that gap, between meetups. So what's coming up? Alpha version of Elastos Smart Web is planned for August. So this will include everything that the team has worked on, for a long time regarding the runtime carrier, DID, the Trinity browser, the first demo app, pretty much the entire end-to-end demo. We plan on having the alpha version of that released by August. And we are also going to be on, and I'll let Kevin take over in a little bit, where he can talk a little bit more about the anniversary. But we are planning on having the first year anniversary in Thailand, late August, and possibly there's also the month-long hackathon that might be coming in September. That is obviously subject to change, but that is the goal right now. All right, I'll let Kevin take over. Let me unmute you. Give me a second.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Okay, awesome. Finally got a chance to talk. All right. Let's talking about the anniversary in Thailand. That will be just 1 full year after last August we have Elastos was set up. So it's just a 1 full year, and also at the moment we're going to share. We're going to release the alpha version of Elastos. So the alpha version of Elastos actually is not only a single part. It actually including the carrier, the main chain, side chain, and the RT, and also SDK. We're going to have a end-to-end demo at the anniversary. So end-to-end demo is made by our one of our community member. His name is Jackie. He was a guy who made the carrier demo. So he's working working on the end-to-end demo right now. And by end of August, we're going to have the demo. Once the partially ready, I'm going to release the code on GitHub, so everybody can jump into the code to see how it works. So the end-to-end demo will show how we're gonna use the different parts, all parts of the Elastos, including the chain, RT, carrier, the browser, Trinity browser, and how the code was organized. So that will be a very important part of the how we're gonna especially for the developers, the app developers, how you're gonna use Elastos to make the application. So that's very, very important. We're going to release the code shortly after it's partially done. And another thing I'm gonna ask you guys is in the anniversary, we're going to have an opening video. The opening video is just showing the community, the Elastos community all over the world. So I'm going to ask everybody, or somebody not in the today's meeting, but also welcome, to record like a 10-second to 12-second video for yourself, about yourself, like something like say hello to the world, something like that, like this. My name is Kevin. I'm from California, USA, and I'm a member of Elastos. I'm happy to be here. Also, you can, if you are not only speak English, you can use other local language like Spanish or French, whatever. Speak the same thing. Just like say hello to everyone in the world. So we're going to have hopefully 10 to 20 this kind of video in different languages from different countries. We can mix them together into like a welcome video. We're going to show this video in the beginning of the anniversary ceremony. So that's something I'm going to ask you guys to do. Just use any kind of device like a camera or even the phone is okay. Just make a selfie video and saying something like that, or anything you want, like say hello or anything you want to talk to the global community. You just you can just record it and send to me. Sorry, excuse me. So this is the video we're gonna do. Just make it easy as possible. Just try to get people has an impression that Elastos, its global community is so active. People are passionate on Elastos. This is something I'm gonna ask you guys to do. And for the anniversary, and also there will be 2 separated video session, online meeting session, Zoom meeting, and we're going to broadcast, live broadcast to the YouTube channel. So that will be a recap of the anniversary in English. And also will be the leaders from all over the world will have a chance to talk to other people over the Zoom meeting. So that's going to be something is also very important. We're going to have a 2 sector like that because the time zone. Since we are in Thailand at the moment, we're going to have 1 session the same day, August 25th evening. Because at that time it would be better for the people from Europe. So that's a Europe friendly 25th evening, and also American East Coast is okay too. And then another session will be August 26th in the morning. That will be American and especially West Coast friendly, because that was the time was in the morning of Asia, and it will be afternoon evening of American West Coast. So we're going to have 2 sessions live cast. So in that case, you don't really have to go to Thailand to join to celebrate. You can just stay home and log in the Zoom meeting, and then you can just enjoy and share the joy with other people from all over the world. So that is for the anniversary. And also for this kind of meeting, I kind of have a question for everyone here. What do you think the next or later on meetings, Zoom meeting, we're gonna do the live streaming on YouTube? But I know some other projects, they're actually doing this kind of live streaming for their team meeting. So anybody who interested in this project, they don't need to like join the Zoom meeting. They just go to the YouTube channel. They can watch live how the meetings goes and who is talking, and he can ask questions on YouTube channel. So people who in the meeting can just pick the question and go to the answer. So that's just a just rough idea. If anybody think that's necessary, or anybody think this is a good idea, we can go this way. Hopefully, as KP said, we're gonna have this kind of meeting at least every 2 weeks. If we have something new, maybe weekly, that's better. So that is my new idea. All right, it's my words of wisdom but the day is kind of long. But I hope you enjoy it, and make sure you remember send us a video. You record a video, selfie video, and send to us. We're gonna put it into the video, and hopefully you can get everything down in 1 or 2 weeks, because we need some time to edit the video before we have the anniversary. All right. Okay. Thank you. That's it. KP, you can take it over. Karen, you can take over.
Yeah. Clarence wants to share something, so I'm gonna give the screen to him. Give me a second here. Let me unmute him. Okay, Clarence, you're unmuted now, I think. Wait.
I got it. So it asked me to unmute myself, so that's cool.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's deploying. Give me a second. Thank you, Ethan, for pointing out that bug. So I'm deploying the bug fix. Well, that'll take 2 seconds. You guys are a lot faster than I thought you would be. What I wanted to show you guys is that under community now, it's in the video. But you could find this information there. But I just wanted to show you guys that you can apply to be an organizer now. If you go to the community of the United States, you can click apply. This bug is gonna get deployed. It should be fixed now. Great, so there's an application here. I see a lot of people in areas that don't have an organizer. So like Indonesia doesn't have an organizer. We do have organizers in the United States. And so we'll just set those up soon. We also have sub-communities features coming out soon. So we'll be setting up sub-communities, and then you can apply to be organizers in those sub-communities as well. So if you are from around the world, or like you're from Italy or something, come in here and apply. I probably will be sending a newsletter out to everyone who's in a community that doesn't have a organizer yet to come invite them to go apply. So hopefully we get a lot of people applying for these organizer positions through Cyber Republic. And yeah, the bug's fixed, so you can go apply right now. Stop share. Cool. KB?
All right. I'm just gonna unmute everyone, and then we'll take any questions. Hold on. Actually, instead of unmuting everyone, we'll just let me actually. Can you unmute yourself, Clarence and Kevin, or do I need to do that for you guys? Let me do that first, so you guys can answer. Kevin is unmuted.
Oh, okay. I can talk now. Yeah, I'm just trying to say we cannot unmute ourselves because you are the host. Yeah, but you can unmute. You can unmute everybody, so everybody can talk.
All right. Everyone is
Yeah.
Oh.
Good job, hairstylist. Here, give me that money back. Give me some money.
Oh, that's pretty loud.
Just give me a 500.
This might be a
This
bad
is for you.
That's a bad idea. Okay, let me just unmute Kevin and Clarence, and then y'all can ask questions in the chat and we'll answer. Hold on, let me unmute Clarence and Kevin first. All right. You
Okay.
both.
Or yeah, you can raise hand. Actually, another way is somebody gonna talk instead of typing. If you don't prefer typing, you can just raise your hand. There's a feature in Zoom. You can raise your hand, and once the KP see you raising your hand, then he can unmute you. Then you can talk.
Yeah, that works too. Or you can just type it in. Either way works, really.
Yeah, either way. Yeah.
That's not how you raise hand, Ethan. But,
Somebody asked you, KP, hey, if my question for you, Ethan, how much time do you spend on Elastos every day?
As much as I need to. It really depends, because there's no like 8 hours from this time to this time, you know. There's meetings, sometimes it's late at night, sometimes early in the morning, sometimes helping out the Telegram and all that. It really, but it's all over the place.
Yeah, I believe KP working more than 12 hours a day. Just any hours when he's not sleeping, he's working.
I was fixing bugs on Cyber Republic till 7 a.m. So I slept 2 hours last night.
Yeah, that's how Elastins work.
7 days a week, pretty much. Oh, a lot of questions. I don't think we can address the FUD or any investor trading questions here, I think.
Oh yeah, right. I got a
So I'll skip
about,
that one.
regarding the regarding about the angel investors. We talked about the technical product, and regarding the investors question regarding how the price. I don't really think we can answer. Wow. And
All right.
Clarence is not from your side?
I don't know. What's that?
Yeah, that was Clarence.
Okay. All right.
Well, he muted himself, so I gotta unmute him now. All right, he's unmuted, I think. No.
Yeah, sorry, there was some background noise there.
So okay, I'll just go over these questions now. From Weston, to what degree is Elastos open to sponsoring, partnering with universities to encourage development on the ecosystem?
I think Kevin has something happening with
Yeah, exactly. Yes, the answer is yes. We really like, and we are really encourage people to help us connect to the university and encourage development on the ecosystem. And one good example is the University of Texas, the computer. I think the Arlington, UT Arlington. I forgot that guy's name. Sorry, and the guy from the computer science department, the professor, come to me about 1 month ago. Yeah, we have a lot of emails and the calls, phone calls. We're discussing a proposal to have a training center and also some kind of official certificate training in the University of Texas. So this is one example. And also I'm currently working with a guy from Vancouver, Canada, BC, Canada, and with UBC. Clarence, are you graduate from UBC? Remember you graduated from UBC.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to I'm talking for some people from UBC. We're going to have something similar. So the goal is we're going to utilize the smart people, students or professors from university to join the development, and also we're going to sponsor kind of a meetup events or even some scholarship. Actually, we did some scholarship in University of Chicago, and we're going to keep doing this kind of thing in many universities. So as long as you have a good idea or connection with university, and you actually can approach us to give us a proposal, how you're gonna help us, not only for scholarship or sponsorship, but also consider this way: what is the benefit that Elastos can get, and especially on the product development, on the training, on the research together. So if you have this idea, just come to us and send us a proposal, and then we can keep talking from there. So that is what I'm trying to say about universities. Okay.
Awesome. Moving on to the next question. I just missed it. Can you be an organizer in 2 communities? I live in the US, but can operate as an organizer out of the Caribbean since I'm there so much. I'll let Clarence answer that because I don't think we've had any discussion regarding that. Is that even possible?
As far as I know, there should be no issues. It's the gateway is the proposal. So you could be an organizer in 2 communities. We also allow more than one organizer for 1 community too. So you know, I think that's all flexible.
Right. Okay. Next question. At what point will Elastos as a whole be totally ready for use? The apps, the internet. So I can kind of answer this, and then I'll let Kevin and Clarence take over. So as we discussed earlier, the alpha version, when we say alpha version, we literally mean everything that we have worked on so far, you know, the SDK, for developers to use. They can start building their own apps, but obviously since it is an alpha stage, things are subject to change when it goes to production. But obviously the beta version, I believe, we're trying to shoot for the end of the year. So that's when we'll have lots of these, lots of developer community and join the Cyber Republic, making lots of apps, and then we can go full on sometime after that. But that is the plan, as far as I know.
That's right. That's right. But the one thing I need to mention is to be realistic. Any kind of operating system or the running environment, it takes some time to get fully ready. And it's fully ready mean not including the OS and the SDK API themselves, but also some framework. Just for example, if you do the web development, you will know the browser JavaScript engine, it considered to be OS. But most likely, people do not use the API from the browser directly. People use some kind of any kind of a framework, like the oldest the jQuery, and right now we have a React Vue. We have so many different kind of frameworks. So developer usually working on top of the framework instead of talking to the OS directly. So right now, the Elastos just like a bare bone browser. If you want to do anything right now, you most likely will talk to the API directly. So this is not something we're gonna say in a long term. So we are looking for either we sell ourselves or we're looking for developers in the community. We actually can build a framework on top of the existing API and OS, so that other developer, the dev developer, can use your framework instead of calling to the API directly from the Elastos RT. So that is something you can consider. You are building a React, you are building a Vue.js for browser, and you are building something for Elastos. So that is a big project, and also this is the main job for Cyber Republic. So I really hope anybody in this channel or on YouTube in the future, if you have some idea and you are very familiar about React or any kind of framework, welcome to join us. We can set up a small developer group in Cyber Republic. We're going to migrate existing or create a new framework on top of Elastos, and other developer will be benefited. Of course, this project will be sponsored by the Cyber Republic for sure. So this is why we consider the fully, it depends on how we define fully ready. Usually it's take a very long time, but it doesn't mean you cannot do anything right now. You can start right now, but if you start earlier, you actually need to dig something dig deeper to the OS. Instead of if you're doing it later, you actually can utilize other people's framework. So it's always always is like this. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
And I just wanted to add too that so there'll be some big announcements during the anniversary, which I can't talk about now, but definitely things will ramp up in terms of how Cyber Republic, the scope of Cyber Republic will expand a lot, and there'll be a time when it'll be beneficial for companies to actually start tackling building apps on Elastos once the Cyber Republic takes off. So there'll be larger rewards to actually build like first-party apps. So we'll definitely be able to reach out to teams and sponsor like first-party apps that they can build out. So there'll be a lot of apps coming up, I guess, around the end of the year.
Awesome. Next question is plans, roadmap for 2019.
Maybe that's a continuation of what I was just saying too. I really hope to set up a lot of teams. I think it'll be almost a no-brainer for a lot of teams to actually start jumping onto Elastos and developing because of the funding that's going to be available. And even myself, I'm a software engineer as well, and I want to start building DApps. And if no one's going to do it, I have tons of ideas that I'm going to go out there and find teams to build. So 2019 should be very productive.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and also for this kind of question, so asking the plans roadmap, maybe we can think differently. Cyber Republic or Elastos community, it's not Elastos is not a company. I mentioned many times. It's a community. So who's gonna make decision on the plans roadmap? It's not me, not Ron, not KP clients. It's everyone in the community. So I really hope everybody can give us your idea, like what kind of framework, what kind of work you can contribute. If your idea and your work is good, and your idea and your a roadmap will become a roadmap for Elastos. So just think this way: you are not like the people just watch other people playing. You actually are player. You're supposed to jump on top of the stage. You are playing. Everybody watching you. So it's not only for ask. I really hope you can give us your idea. So what you think our plans will be, and what you can contribute to make your work is part of the roadmap.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. That also at the moment, I don't know if we mentioned, but I think this also relates to the question that Bore had. Right now, you cannot create any developer related tasks. Only the admins can do that. But that's just for right now. Obviously, as we have more developers, we will be changing the way that we work that out. But that's gonna be the part where someone can propose like what they would like to see, what kind of any sort of change that they would like to see. That's the reason why the roadmap on the website doesn't extend beyond December, because we are all going to be taking part in the roadmap and defining Elastos' vision as a community together, not as a company, because there is no company. Anyways, I think that kind of answers for his question too. Moving on to the next one. Is it best to wait until the official release before trying to get involved on the platform? Example, particularly interested in helping with runtime on iOS, but don't want to inconvenience people by creating tickets, tasks in Cyber Republic until ready. You can jump in as a developer at any time, because we are officially a go and for the Cyber Republic website. Again, you can't really create any tasks, the developer related tasks, but you can definitely talk to one of the admins, Clarence, me, or Kevin. And then we can see like how you can get involved as a developer. But in the near future, that will all change. But that's just what it is right now. Clarence, you want to add anything to that, or Kevin?
Yeah, you were right on the ball there. Yeah, so talk to us, and we could, if we think that you have the right background and we like what you want to do, I'm sure we can figure out how to get you some Mila.
Awesome.
Yeah, and regarding the you're interested in helping with the runtime on iOS, that's awesome. I really appreciate your help, and I think you can start right now. And like most of the projects or network internet project, it's never a final release. If you remember the Gmail from Google, they beta for almost 5 years, maybe more than 5 years. So it's always keep improving. If you ask when it's ready, total ready, then you never meet the day. So you're gonna wait forever. So what you can do is you can involve right now, and especially if you're early adapter, you actually can get a lot of help from us, from the core team. And so the ideal time, if you cannot start from today, the ideal time would be someday in August, because the documentation will be ready before the anniversary. So that would be ideal time. But even before that, if you have any question, just either ask on GitHub or contact us directly. So we can find some code developer who can talk to you directly regarding what you can contribute. So yeah, you are welcome. You can start right now. Just let us know. That's it.
All right, next question. When will first initial partner DApps be launched? Will next month's alpha runtime be sufficient to launch a DApp? So as far as this goes, when it comes to strategic partnerships with some of the DApps that are going to be building, that is exactly what a partnership is about, so that they can play around with the development on their side internally before we go full on public. That's one of the advantages, but they are also helping contribute back to Elastos core code at the same time. For instance, ViewChain from Zapier. As far as like when these the apps are going to be launched, you would have to ask them because it's not really dictated by us. We just provide a platform for others to build the apps on. After we go beta, when we go live, then anyone can jump in and develop their apps and actually launch it pretty easily. So that's, I don't know if there's anything more to add to that.
Yes, and for the partner DApps, it depends on, like just KP said, depends on the partner when they're gonna complete, and also depends on what kind of module you're gonna use. If you need everything like do the end to end, of course you cannot start right now. You have to wait till August once we release. But some DApps, like the view chain just mentioned by KP, the view chain is it doesn't need any anything related to others. Just a IPFS, mobile IPFS. So that could be ready. I'm not guaranteed, but likely be ready in August in the anniversary because we're going to use it in our end-to-end demo. So that part could be easier and closer to the release. But others, like very complicated DApps, for example, the movie coin, actually the full name of the movie coin is called a WeFilm chain. That is a full name. That will take much longer because that is a huge product, and that project going to use a lot of features Elastos is currently still working on. So for that kind of project, it will take longer, likely at least half year or maybe 1 year from now. So it sort of depends. Not every DApp is the same. It's very different. That's it.
Right. And also, like for some of the use cases, like if someone wanted to, and all of this development can be going in parallel. So not everything has to be. You have to wait for everything to get released, because like some of the code, like Kevin said, like ViewChain has already been working in parallel because the IPFS technology that they're going to have. Well, they don't really need to collaborate that much because because that is going to be, we're basically collaborating with them. So they're actually contributing to the Elastos core code at the same time. So it really depends from the app to the app. But like we've been saying, after alpha, whenever the SDK is ready, whenever everything, the end-to-end demo is live, then, we're planning on building, writing a lot of tutorials, making some videos, maybe even have a playlist of tutorials on from like start to finish on like explaining the tech behind it, how it all works underneath, so that it can help developers understand like what exactly is being used and that sort of thing. That is the plan, so that you don't all have to learn from scratch by just digging into the code. We want to make it as easy as possible for everyone, so everyone can get started pretty easily, no matter who you are. I'm going to skip the question that Ethan asked because that's a pretty personal question, and we can take that offline. All right, from Raul, Ionic. Okay, that was his name. He's the Raul. Just want to shout out. He's the one who actually wrote that new article a while ago.
Well, I agree with him. Ionic is not enough. That's why just a few minutes ago I'm talking about we need a framework, which is specifically designed for Elastos. Ionic, of course, will not be the one we use for long term. But that's why we asking people like Raw, if you can, or anybody who would like to join to participate, we actually can design a new framework, especially for Elastos. Of course, it's not Ionic. We need some developer to join. That's exactly what I expected from Cyber Republic. So yeah, welcome, everyone, welcome.
Yeah. And there will be, that's exactly why we have such a big fund for Cyber Republic, so that we can fund the development. When it comes to these major developments, we can have like teams and teams working on at the same time, building this ecosystem and the framework together. So it's as easy as possible for new developers to come in and just join it pretty easily. That's the goal, at least.
Oh yeah, and the Teams function feature of Cyber Republic is coming pretty soon. It's actually like 90% done, but just needs to be polished. So you'll be able to team up with your other people that and tackle, then apply for projects as a whole.
Awesome. All right, next question. How many DApps are in development, ready to be deployed soon? We already answered this, so we'll just move on. And Clarence mentioned that there are companies working on integrations with other frameworks like VR, WebGL too for games, stuff like that.
Just to reiterate too, I mean, the runtime is a C++ runtime. So you have access to every driver you need. So you can build anything you want. It's just, of course, we don't want to reinvent the wheel over and over again. So hopefully the pioneers that built the first integrations, hopefully they can share their work with everybody else so they can, start from there.
Right. All right. Let me see. I'm just scrolling through. Any comments on arbitrator status? The only thing that's released about how these nodes, arbitrator nodes, will work is through the sidechain paper. I mean, details will be released in time because we still have a long way to go. But I personally, I don't have any comment. Do we have any update on that, Kevin?
Yeah, it's the same as what you said. It's in the white paper. I don't have any update information yet.
Okay. And Bore said, please no web-based app. User experience is terrible.
You actually don't have to do everything on web-based app.
Right.
We actually had SDK. We allow developer who is using native mobile like iOS or Android development. You actually can use SDK. So that in that case, your application is still a native application, but just add some features to talk to the RT directly. So you don't have to.
Right. And that's the reason why we have this SDK in the first place, so that, as long as you're already developing your apps, you're already a developer, like, let's say you're making an Android app already or an iOS app, a native app, well, you can get started right away using the SDK because you can integrate everything that we offer, into your existing native app. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to use, Cordova Ionic to make that web-based app.
And also, I can give you one example here. Like a Beat Game is our partner. Is making a game exchange. So they're going to put the SDK into many game developing studio. Those application is, of course, is not a web app. It's just a game. It will be using OpenGL, VR, whatever. They use our SDK to put the feature to earn ANA or to exchange token in the game. So that is a good example for what you asked. You don't have to make a web application. You can put the SDK into any kind of application, including not limited to Android and iOS. In the future, maybe PC games, Mac games, you can do that as well.
Awesome. I think those are all the questions.
I got a new one, like from Ethan, not the public, but it's sent to me privately. But I'm going to answer publicly. So he asked that he need to send me the proposal. Actually, no, you don't send to me. You just post into the separate public. So we do everything publicly and the transparency. So if you have any idea, just post to a separate public, and everybody can see your idea. And I'm one of the admin. I can prove it. But you don't need to send to me because I don't want my email inbox to be bombed by so many emails. Just go to a separate public. We do everything in transparency.
Awesome. Raul asked, can an Android program in Java with SDK of Elastos, can it run on top of the Elastos runtime?
Well, actually, the answer is no. Actually, we can put it this way. It's not on top of Elastos runtime. In that case, Elastos runtime will be inside of your application. So in that case, because you make a native application, your application will be running on top of the existing OS directly. It's iOS or Android. But the Elastos runtime, which is kind of SDK or communication layer, will be part of your application because you are using SDK. But on the other hand, you need to make sure that you know the consequence of this SDK because you're not running on top of the Elastos runtime. So your application is not protected by the runtime. You're just using the feature of runtime, but not protected. Like a lot of features where Elastos runtime provide, you actually don't have that. So you need to make sure that is that what you want. If not, you still need to consider to make some kind of web app, which maybe UI will be less elegant, but it will be protected by the RT.
Yeah. Going back to that same question, what you can think of this in two ways. Because right now, if you think about other, blockchain projects out there, the way that you interact, like with Ethereum, they have their um, what is it called, their library that they use to JavaScript library that you use to interact with the blockchain. You can think of it similarly, where we provide the SDK, and you can use some of the features that Elastos platform provides, but in that sense, not everything is in that lives inside that sandbox that is protected by runtime. It is still going to be running outside of that sandbox environment. So in that sense, not everything is protected, but the features that you are using for, like, that part is protected for sure, because it is utilizing the Elastos blockchain, the sidechain, whatever you want to do. But that's what the SDK is for, just to kickstart, get the developers on board as quickly as possible, so that they can utilize all the features that we provide. And then, if you wanted to just move on to, building your own, I don't know, integrating runtime and into whatever application that you're doing, you have to do that as sort of the web-based app, because those are the kind of apps that are going to be running inside the runtime, and it's going to be protected fully 100%.
Okay, another question from Weston. Are you primarily interested in attention of a developer at this point? Yes. And or are you also interested in the IoT researchers and companies? Oh, yes, of course. By the way, I'm going to share some information here. We're actually working with quite a few IoT companies in China. I think in Shanghai, I believe. One company is making the topside box on TV, like TV box. I think they already have the one sample box I saw from the picture. They put the carrier and the runtime into the TV box. So in that case, if the TV box is shipped to the end user, by the end of this year, we may have like 1,000, maybe 10,000 of users who actually bought this kind of TV box installed at their home. They could become our carrier nodes. So if that's true, we will have like 1,000 or 10,000 of carrier nodes by the end of the year. So that is a pretty cool idea. And not only for the TV box, we also have some partner working with us on the routers. We're going to put the carrier nodes and the RT into the other routers. So in that case, there will be like 1,000 million users using the routers to become our carrier nodes. So we do working with us with other IoT companies. So like a Weston, if you have any idea, or if you are running some kind of IoT companies, or running even a startup company working on IoT, yeah, welcome, talk to us, and we can find something to work together, like investment or something. And another example is the weather block. Even weather block is a long-term project. We don't have any progress yet, but based on what weather block is trying to do, they are trying to make the IoT box as well, just like the router, to handle the IoT, the weather data on the IoT devices. So yes, the answer is yes.
Awesome. So last question. I think we're almost out of time here. So Raul again, thanks for all these questions. I guess that an Android app or an iOS app can use Elastos Carrier, like LLPay, DID service, but it would not be the app inside Elastos runtime, right? That is correct.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Any last words of wisdom from Kevin, and then we'll wrap this up?
Yeah, pretty good. I don't have any words. I answered a lot of questions, and just again, as I mentioned, make sure you remember to send us your video. Hopefully, in 1 or 2 weeks, we can put the video into the opening video, so you can see yourself on the ceremony live stream. And another thing I just come up to my mind, tomorrow I'm going to have a talk at Google. There is a Google meetup called the ABC. I don't know what ABC stands for. I will have a talk about Elastos and the future of the decentralized ecosystem. I have a talk there. But I just realized yesterday I thought it was in Google Campus, but I just realized today it's not in Google Campus. It's just about 1 mile away from Google Campus, another venue. But it doesn't matter. The meetup was hosted by a group of the Googler, so they host this kind of meetup. I'm going to talk there. So anybody who is in Silicon Valley, welcome to the events. Time is 6:30. I don't have the link right now, but you can easily find it in Twitter or our Telegram. You can easily find the link. You can just go there or click to register. You can come to. We can have a talk over there. It's tomorrow evening in Silicon Valley. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, and thanks for all the questions. We'll be announcing the next meetup. If it is next week, we'll be announcing in the next few days. If not, then we'll announce sometime next week. Thank you. Take care.